The race to replace Justin Trudeau is nearing the finish line, with candidates facing off in two key debates this week in Montreal. Four Liberal leadership contenders are vying for the party's top job. The first debate in French, the second last night in English. Our Taria Isri is in Montreal and joins us now to break down the key moments. So Taria, there's a lot of concerns top of mind for Canadians right now, the housing affordability crisis, the Trump tariffs threats. Were these reflected in the debate? What exactly dominated it last night?
Well, Miranda, all these topics came up, but really, unsurprisingly, Trump dominated a lot of the discussions last night. Each of the candidates really highlighted how serious a threat he poses by vowing to slap those crushing tariffs on Canada and you know, those 51st state comments that we've heard repeatedly. So former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, who's running for the party's top job, she said that he represents the most existential threat, the largest existential threat to Canada since the Second World War, that Canada can no longer count on the U.S. to be the leader of the free world, and that Canada really needs to align itself with other allies, including nuclear-armed countries like Britain and France. So it was a pretty bleak assessment. You also heard from the leaders that they really tried to align Donald Trump with Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre. Mark Carney, the former Bank of Canada governor, who's considered the frontrunner, he had said that Poilievre would be the worst person to deal with Trump because, in his words, he worships him. Former Government House leader Karina Gould called Poilievre Canada's little Trump. So you heard that strategy again and again with the candidates really trying to tie him to the U.S. president. The candidates also tried to differentiate themselves. So Frank Baylis, a Montreal businessman, he tried to say that given his background as an entrepreneur, he's negotiated lots of contracts, that he'd be the best person to deal with Trump, who he called a bully. The candidates also tried to differentiate themselves from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So take a listen to what they had to say.
Okay. So our economy was weak before we got to the point of these threats from President Trump. That's why we need big changes.
For me, this campaign has been a personal liberation, and I am my own person, and it is great.
We will only win the next election by being Liberals, proudly, not Conservative light.
I'll be focused on getting more money into Canadians' pockets. That's what I'm good at.
So Taria, the English language debate was the second one. How did it differ from the French debate?
Well, it was more of a debate. You actually heard some disagreement on the stage versus the French debate, where it was largely, I agree, good point. There really wasn't as much sparring. Now, it is important to note that all the candidates are Anglophones, so clearly, you know, it was easier to debate in their first language. That was especially true of Mark Carney, who, you know, really did seem to struggle in French. On the debate stage, he was at times apprehensive. There were fumbles. So, you know, yesterday he seemed to do a better job. He seemed to be more comfortable on that stage, and he seemed to receive more pushback from his colleagues than he received the previous day. Karina Gould and Chrystia Freeland both challenged him for saying that he would not necessarily immediately meet the 2% NATO defense spending target. But all in all, it was largely a collegial debate. You know, they're all running under the Liberal Party banner, so you know, you didn't see a ton of fireworks, but there definitely were more fireworks than the previous day. There was also more talk about pipelines, which all the candidates seemed to be on board in terms of building more pipelines in Canada, and we heard a little bit more on carbon pricing, which all the leaders seemed to walk back, with the exception of Karina Gould. She's pausing an increase, but she's not vowing to scrap it the way the other candidates are.
All right, so Taria, the debates have wrapped up. Where exactly does the leadership race go from here?
Well, you're already hearing the Conservatives attacking the Liberal leadership candidates, particularly Mark Carney. They had said that, it's quite hypocritical for him to, attack the economic record of Justin Trudeau, given the fact that he served as an economic advisor to him. But really now Liberal Party members will have their say. There's about 400,000 registered party members, and they can begin advanced voting today. And the winner will be announced March 9th. But this race has really tightened between the Conservatives and the Liberals. New Ipsos polling done for Global News shows that for the first time in years, the Liberals are ahead of the Conservatives. It's only slightly, it's 2 points, but it's definitely a major reversal compared to what we saw, just months ago, where the Liberal Party faced potential collapse under Justin Trudeau.
All right, that's our Taria Isri reporting in Montreal. Thanks for the update, Taria.